There's a certain kind of person who never quite blends into the noise of the world. Not because they're distant, but because they're listening more than they're speaking. They notice how light rests on a wall. They think about how time slips forward, quietly changing everything. When they pause before answering, it's not hesitation, it's calculation. They're weighing possibilities most people never even notice. These are the deep thinkers, people who live more vividly inside their minds than inside conversations. People who can take a single moment and unfold an entire universe from it. But if you're one of them, you already know this depth isn't easy to carry. Because being a deep thinker isn't just intelligence, it's sensitivity. It's seeing layers where others see surfaces. It's both a gift and a quiet weight. To understand deep thinkers, you have to understand the tension they live with, between their inner world and the outer one. Most people believe thinking too much causes confusion, but for a deep thinker, thinking is like breathing. It's survival. It's how they process existence itself. They don't just see a tree, they see its roots gripping the soil. They notice how it bends toward the light. They feel how its struggle mirrors their own. Everything becomes symbolic. A conversation becomes a reflection. Silence becomes emotional data. A pause becomes a question. A single glance turns into a full story. Psychologically, deep thinkers tend to have high levels of introspection. They don't only analyze the world around them, they analyze their own reactions to it. They're constantly searching for meaning, asking why, not to challenge others, but because why feels essential, like oxygen. This is connected to the brain's default mode network, the part that becomes active during imagination, creativity, memory, and reflection. So their minds are always weaving connections, comparing patterns, reflecting inward. But that same ability often isolates them. While others react quickly, deep thinkers observe. They pause. They notice details. They think before they speak. And sometimes, by the time they're ready to talk, the moment has already passed. So they stay quiet. People often mistake that silence for boredom or disinterest, but it's not emptiness, it's depth. Deep thinkers don't crave talking, they crave understanding. They want conversations that move past small talk into fears, dreams, contradictions, and the hidden architecture of the human heart. Surface-level chatter drains them, because while most people float on the surface of life, deep thinkers are diving for meaning at the ocean floor. But depth has a cost. It often turns into overthinking. They replay conversations, dissect words, analyze tone, wonder what someone really meant. Not because they're insecure, but because they see nuance everywhere. Every choice carries multiple meanings. Every emotion has roots beneath it. And their mind keeps searching until it finds truth or exhaustion. Psychologists call this meta-cognition, thinking about your own thinking. Most people visit it occasionally. Deep thinkers live there. They observe their thoughts as if from the outside, questioning them, rearranging them, trying to understand their patterns. This creates deep self-awareness, but also self-doubt. Because when you see everything clearly, you also see your flaws in sharp focus. A deep thinker doesn't just ask, "What do I want?" They ask, "Why do I want it? Where did this desire come from? What happens if I get it or never do?" They analyze love, ambition, fear, and memory until these invisible things feel almost tangible. And sometimes, in all that understanding, they forget how to simply be. Not everything needs explanation. Some things are meant to be felt. You'll often find deep thinkers alone, headphones in, walking slowly. Not because they're lonely, but because solitude is their native language. They need space to breathe, to untangle thoughts others never even notice. They can feel deeply while appearing calm. Their emotions move like quiet currents beneath still water. They might sit in a cafe staring at nothing, while inside they're revisiting something they said years ago, trying to understand what it revealed about who they were then. This isn't self-punishment, it's self-mapping. Deep thinkers don't judge themselves, they study themselves. They're drawing the geography of their own mind, trying to understand where each feeling lives. That's why they can seem detached from reality, when in truth they're trying to see it from every possible angle. Many deep thinkers experience existential thought, not just questioning their own lives, but life itself. Time, purpose, consciousness, morality. These aren't anxious worries, they're awareness. Overthinking worries about outcomes. Deep thinking questions reality. But here's the paradox. The same mind that sees patterns everywhere can also create patterns that don't exist. When you connect everything, sometimes the web becomes a trap. They might read too much into silence, assume meaning where there is none, turn simple moments into unresolved philosophical puzzles. Like using a microscope that's too powerful. You start seeing things that weren't meant to be examined that closely. Still, that same depth fuels creativity. History's greatest minds, Einstein, Da Vinci, June, were deep thinkers. They saw invisible connections, approached problems from angles no one else considered. Because when your mind never stops asking why, eventually you uncover answers others miss. But modern society doesn't always reward depth. It rewards speed, productivity, certainty. Reflection looks like hesitation. Silence looks like weakness. Complexity looks like confusion. So deep thinkers often learn to hide their depth. They nod along, smile politely, even when their thoughts are wandering galaxies away. And when everyone leaves, that's when their real conversation begins, inside their own mind. There's a loneliness in that inner world, because deep thinkers crave connection, but only the kind that feels real. And real connection requires vulnerability. Not everyone wants to go that deep, so they become selective. They observe quietly, waiting for signs of depth in others. And when they finally open up, they don't do it halfway. They share their fears, their hopes, their unspoken truths, because deep thinkers don't love lightly. But that openness can hurt, because when you see the world in shades of gray, you expect others to see it that way too. You assume honesty is default, that words mean what they say. And when reality breaks that assumption, it cuts deeper. Not because deep thinkers are fragile, but because they invested fully.